All right. So I think the major point of this interview that I wanted to talk about was just kind of you've been in the scene a while, so I wanted to like get an update of where your kind of goals are and like your idea on some of the current like state of the Game Changers scene. My first question, I guess, then is in a G2 Gamer Academy video, you discussed how the Game Changers scene is doing a good job addressing inequity and competitive opportunities in resources, such as organizational support staff, which is essential for securing a fully co-ed Tier 1 scene in the future. So if that qualification checkbox for Tier 1 competition has been checked, what do you think is preventing the scene from reaching that milestone of any person of a marginalized gender competing in Tier 1?
I think it's mainly about the fact of the group of people. I really do see a future where something will happen. Like, I'm talking about like the near future as like 5 to 10 years. And I think it's all about just, you know, there not being enough women or marginalized genders yet to like actually make it, you know? The female scene is still very new and fresh, especially in Valorant, and I think when there's more professionalism inside it, it will just automatically grow. So just a little bit of time, and we will see them in Tier 1 for sure.
Amazing. And in that same video, you also kind of conceded that like you've accepted the fact that it might not be you as that individual that gets to compete in a co-ed kind of environment in Tier 1 because you are kind of reaching, I guess, the threshold of esports careers, kind of. But then my question for you, I guess, is what is your big goal kind of in your esports career that has yet to be accomplished then that keeps you competing still to this day?
I think a very achievable goal will be reaching Tier 2, sorry, and just being a part of some of these young girls' journeys, making sure that I set my mark on them and teaching them my experience that I have had throughout the years to make sure that they are gonna be in a good spot for the future in Tier 1 even, because I'm sure that like even my teammates are able to do it one day. If they want to, of course, they will be able to do it. So that's just really my goal, and however long I'm gonna play will always be my goal to make sure that these young girls are gonna get somewhere, and I just wanna help them the right way.
Amazing. And you touched on that your goal is to compete in Tier 2, and no team in the Game Changer scene yet has breached that threshold. Like obviously USR, Team Liquid have made it to that kind of like last stage kind of qualifying for it. And now this year, obviously, Riot announced that whoever wins Game Changers champ earns a spot that could still be relegated in Champions. So how are you guys preparing for that possibility, and how will you ensure that kind of opportunity isn't wasted, I guess?
Yeah. So last time we competed, it was completely online, and this time we have talked about to actually go on bootcamp to prepare for it in February. We know that it's a very achievable goal. We were very close, and we lost the winners, and we do a lot of practice versus VCL teams currently with really good results, beating them, playing close with them, obviously also losing. So what we really want to focus on is having a bootcamp for that, and even skip a bootcamp for GC to make sure to achieve VCL, because that is our ultimate goal also of this team.
Amazing. And I know you said that the roster for Spotlight Series has not necessarily been announced yet, but it was kind of cool to see that G2 is now competing both in the EMEA one and in the North American one. I know you said you wanted to give the opportunity maybe to teammates in order for them to have that possibility to move up to Tier 1, but if you get the opportunity to compete with Gozen again, what were maybe some of the changes or some of the lessons you learned the first time competing in Paris that you would want to bring over to the Americas if you get the chance to compete again?
If I'm gonna play and Valen is not gonna play, I'm gonna be the IGL of a Tier 1 team. That will obviously be fun and very nerve-wracking. Regardless of whoever is gonna play, it will always be a good experience. They have a bunch of experience, even though they're young players too. They have a different perspective on the game that is very respectable and that we are just very excited to get a glimpse of and see how it's gonna be.
Amazing. All right, and we'll like kind of rapid fire the last two questions, kind of relating to your mom and their visit today. I know it was touched on in the press conference, but your mom during the halftime interview did say it was kind of a good luck ritual for you guys to call before the match. And I know you said that you guys live apart, so maybe that's part of the reason. But explain maybe how that ritual came to be or why it's so important to you.
First of all, it's just very important to keep in touch, obviously. My mom is my closest family member, and she is the most supportive one, too. So making sure that we just, speak to each other. She wishes me good luck. She gives me some motivational words. It's just a really good feeling inside. And I know that, no matter what happens, she has my back through the bad times and the good times. And then having her here saying it and just getting to hug her before just felt so good.
Cool. And speaking of the good times and the bad times, you also said kind of that obviously you dropped out of school when you were 18 to pursue gaming, and that can be a very interesting conversation with parents, me included in that experience pool. So how did that go when you were like telling them like that's what you want to do and explaining your plan to them?
One thing that has always been the most important for my mom is just that I'm happy and that I'm sure in my decisions. And even before I was 18 years old, I was competing and I was traveling, so she knew that this was serious business and it was not just like a thought that I just had. And obviously I also dropped out of school when I was able to do it. Like I got the support from my stream, so I was able to live from something else. And obviously that's one thing that I think is really important, not just going in completely without any kind of plans, just for the security of yourself. And she completely understood that, and she traveled with me whenever she had the opportunity.
And kind of similar to that, do you have any advice for any individuals who are trying to either pursue their education concurrently with esports or on the kind of brink of making that major life decision of do I want to continue my education or do I want to fully pursue esports?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a hard decision to make because you always think about, is it the right choice? But one thing that I always told myself is that I cannot do something half-hearted. And if you want to pursue esports, you have to give it all because people that are giving it all will be way ahead of you. And it's going to be really hard to focus on your school and your job and also your practice. And it's not for everyone. So my advice is to do whatever you want. And whatever you want and whatever you dream of, do that, okay? And don't let anyone else change your mind.
Cool. And then the last question is, your mom said that she obviously doesn't understand the most about Valorant, can track like the kills and such to determine who wins rounds. If you could see your mom playing any agent role, and maybe just agent in Valorant, which one do you think it would be and why?
It would have to be something simple. So maybe I could see her play as Sage. You don't have to be too precise with things, and the only thing she has to learn is how to put the wall and turn it. It will be a battle for her to learn it, but I'm confident she can do it.
I want to see that. Mimi's mom versus a VCT Pro's mom. They've done it before. We got to get your mom in on it.
I love that one.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll conclude the interview there.